The UK is an incredible country filled with so much to do and see. In this video, I'm going to give you the ultimate 10-day UK itinerary that covers everything from iconic big cities to breathtaking castles and charming small town escapes. Whether you're a first-time visitor or looking to revisit with fresh eyes, this journey will take you through London's bustling streets, Edinburgh's ancient castles, and so much more, so let's dive in. Days 1 through 3 are going to be spent in London since that's most likely where you'll be flying into. London is an incredible city with so much to do and see, but you'll actually be staying in a hotel here from days 1 through 8 and then doing day trips on days 4 through 7. So book something as central as possible. I've been living in London for almost 2 years now and I still feel like I'm constantly discovering new things to do and see here. On my channel, I have a 1-day, 3-day, and 5-day London itinerary depending on how much time you have here. My 3-day itinerary is what I will be summarizing here because it really allows you to see all of the main tourist attractions in such a short amount of time. So let's start by pulling up my Google map I created for London. Anyone who watches my channel knows I'm a very visual person and I love to create Google Maps when I travel. So if you're the same, check out this video on how to create your own Google Maps for your trips. I've separated each day by color. We'll do day 1 as green, day 2 as orange, and day 3 as red. So like I just mentioned, I will touch on all the highlights in this video, but if you want a step-by-step guide and to know more about each of these days and each of these things in depth, make sure to watch my 3-day London itinerary video. So day 1, you're starting in Westminster where you'll see Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster, which is the Parliament building. Pro tip, on Great George Street there are a series of red telephone booths that are the perfect photo opportunity of you with the booth and Big Ben behind you. Once you get that perfect shot, head across the road to Westminster Abbey, which has been the location of all the royal coronations of English and British monarchs since 1066. From here, you're walking through the stunning St. James's Park to get to Buckingham Palace. Once you're done admiring the palace, you'll walk along the Mall Crossing, which is a beautiful tree-lined street, and you'll end up in Trafalgar Square. From here, you'll keep walking along the Strand until you get to Jubilee Market in Covent Garden, which is personally one of my favorite areas in London. Then you'll walk down to the river and cross it using either the Waterloo or the Golden Jubilee Bridge to get to the London Eye. I personally wouldn't spend the £26 to actually go up in the London Eye because I think that's crazy expensive. But if you want to, now would be the time. Now moving on to day 2, which is the orange pins. We'll start the day by grabbing breakfast at Spitalfields Market, which opens at 8 a.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. on weekends. Then right down the street, you can head to Brick Lane, which is a cool hipster street, home to the famous Brick Lane bagel shop where you can try the salted beef bagel for £6.50. It's insanely good. Next, you'll make your way to Sky Garden, but make sure to walk through Leadenhall Market on your way there, which is a nice photo spot and a Harry Potter filming location. Once you get to Sky Garden, you show them your ticket and you head up. Tickets are free, but you do need to reserve them about 3 weeks in advance. Once you're done, you'll head to the Tower of London and then walk across Tower Bridge. Now it's time to head to Borough Market for lunch. Make sure to grab a sandwich from the famous Black Pig stall. From here, you can walk along the river to the Tate Modern Museum, which is free to enter. Then walk along Millennium Bridge to end your day at St. Paul's Cathedral. Now let's move on to day 3, which are the red pins. We'll start the day at Kensington Palace, which is the official residence of Princess Kate and Prince William. Then continue walking through the park until you get to the Italian Gardens, which are absolutely stunning. From here, you can continue to walk through Hyde Park, or you can just hop on a bus or the tube to Mercado Mayfair, which is genuinely the most beautiful food hall I've ever been to in my life. It's inside of an old church, so there are all these columns and beautifully stained glass, plus a nice rooftop garden with tables. The next part of your day, you're just walking and exploring the streets of central London, maybe popping into some shops or snapping some photos of the beautiful buildings. You'll start at Bond Street, then make your way to Regent Street, onto Carnaby Street, and finally pop into Liberty London, which is just a beautiful shop and a great photo op. Next, you'll walk up to Oxford Street to do some shopping. This is the main shopping street in London, so walk up and down the street. I'm sure you'll find any store that you're looking for. Once you've had enough shopping, you'll head to the British Museum, which is completely free and you do not need to book any tickets in advance. You can simply just walk in. Once you're done here, or if going to the museum doesn't really interest you, you'll continue to walk down until you get to Neal's Yard, which is just this cute, colorful hidden gem. Not really much to do here, but I do think it's worth stopping and just getting a quick photo. Then right across the street is the Seven Dials Market where you can grab some dinner. From here, you'll head to Leicester Square, which is one of London's best known public squares and a hub for entertainment. And then you'll end your day at Piccadilly Circus, which is the icon of modern day London with its huge display signs and a fountain in the middle of this road junction. Days 4 through 7 are going to be day trips from London. So what I recommend you do is you buy a rail card. It's £30 per person for a single rail card, or £30 total for a couple if you do a couple rail card, which means you do have to travel together. So if you download the Trainline app and make an account, then go to account, click rail cards, you can purchase it right there. Once you have it, you'll get 30% off all train journeys for a year, so it's super worth it and you'll make your money back real quick. On day 4, you'll do a day trip to Oxford, which is so magical. It's a city filled with so much history and stunning architecture everywhere you look. Trains depart frequently from London Paddington and Marylebone stations with journey times of just about an hour. Tickets range from £10 to £30 depending on when you book, or you can take the Oxford 2 or X90 coach from Victoria Station, which is a more budget-friendly option. It takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I've been to Oxford twice, and both times I did take the Oxford 2 bus, which is confusing because it's not the tube, it is a bus, but it's called Oxford Tube. And it's a really nice journey. The bus stop was right outside my old apartment in Hammersmith, so it was just super convenient, more convenient than making my way to Paddington Station. But whether you hop on the bus or the train, you'll hop off right in Oxford City Centre. So you'll start your day with a walk through Oxford City Centre. You'll start with the Radcliffe Camera and the Bodleian Library. They are both must-sees for incredible architecture and literary history. And of course, don't miss the iconic Bridge of Sighs, which is one of the city's most photographed landmarks. Be sure to also check out Oxford Covered Market, Christchurch College, and the Bear Pub, which is Oxford's oldest pub that's been open since 1242. You can end the day relaxing by the river, watching people punt, or trying punting for yourself. For more information on how to spend the perfect day in Oxford, check out this video. On day 5, you'll do a day trip to Windsor Castle, which is the oldest and largest occupied castle in the world, where King Charles III spends 2 days a week at. There are 2 main ways to get here, and which way you decide to take will just kind of depend on where your hotel is, how much you want to spend. First is the London Line 702 bus, formerly known as the Green Line 702 bus. That runs hourly from London Victoria Station. It stops at Hyde Park Corner, Royal Albert Hall, Knightsbridge, Kensington, Hammersmith, Langley, and Slough. It then continues to Windsor, stopping right outside the castle walls at the Theatre Royal. The total trip takes about an hour and a half, and the bus is pretty nice. It's not a standard public bus. It only costs £2 each way, so it's super cheap. The other way is the train, which departs every 20 to 30 minutes from both Paddington and Waterloo stations in central London to Windsor and Eton. From Paddington, it's about 28 to 38 minutes to Windsor and Eton Central, and from Waterloo, it's about 55 minutes to Windsor and Eton Riverside. Both of these Windsor stations are completely fine. You can walk to the castle a few minutes from each one. It'll cost you about £5 to £12 one way, depending on the route you decide. It's £30 to enter the castle if you buy your entrance ticket in advance, or £33 if you buy at the gate. And if you want to watch the changing of the guard ceremony, it happens every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 11 a.m. If you want more information on Windsor Castle and all the things to do there, check out my Windsor Castle video, which I'll link in the description. On day 6, you'll do a day trip to Canterbury, a city that combines history, culture, and picturesque charm. Its stunning cathedral and cobblestone streets make it the perfect quaint getaway from London. So how do you get there? Trains run frequently from London St. Pancras International and London Victoria stations. The high-speed train from St. Pancras gets you there in just under an hour, while the train from Victoria gets you there in about an hour and a half. Tickets generally cost between £15 and £30 depending on when you book. You can head to either Canterbury West or Canterbury East stations. They're both just a short walk from the heart of the city centre. The highlight of Canterbury is undoubtedly its magnificent cathedral, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and the seat of the Archbishop of Canterbury. After exploring the cathedral, wander through Canterbury's charming medieval streets like the King's Mile, which has tons of shops and cafes, and don't forget to check out the Westgate Gardens, which is my personal favorite spot in Canterbury and probably the most iconic shot of Canterbury you normally see on social media. Walk along the river, see the flowers in full bloom, I guess depending on what time of the year you're there, people punting, or even hop on a punting boat for yourself. For more information on how to spend the perfect day in Canterbury, check out this video. On day 7, you'll do a day trip to Bath, a gorgeous city with ancient Roman roots and Georgian elegance. This UNESCO World Heritage City is a must-visit spot when coming to the UK. And fun fact, it is the main filming location for Bridgerton, so that will already kind of start to give you an accurate picture of how stunning this city is. And getting to Bath couldn't be any easier. Trains depart regularly from London Paddington Station, and the journey takes about an hour and a half. Tickets typically range from £20 to £50 depending on when you book. Once you arrive at Bath Spa Station, you'll find yourself just a few minutes walk from the city's major attractions like the Roman baths, hence the city's name, Bath Abbey, and the Royal Crescent and the Circus. For a more in-depth guide on how to spend the perfect day in Bath, check out this video. Now for days 8 through 10, you are officially leaving your London hotel and hopping on a 4-hour train to Edinburgh, Scotland. So day 8, half of your day is spent on the train ride up there. Then you can do a few things in the downtown after checking into your hotel. The Old Town is extremely small, so it honestly doesn't really matter which days you do what. But on day 8, I would recommend seeing the Scott Monument and then checking out the National Galleries of Scotland, which is an art museum. On day 9, you have your only full day in Edinburgh, so that means you're going to see all of the main sites in the Old Town. Start your day off at the Edinburgh Castle, which is just the focal point of the city. You can see it from pretty much anywhere you are in the Old or New Town area as you're just walking around, and it's so beautiful. If you want to go inside, you can pay £19.50 for a ticket. Once you're done, you'll walk along the Royal Mile, which is from Edinburgh Castle, and it ends all the way at the Palace of Holyrood and Parliament House and Parliament Building. Just as the name suggests, it's slightly longer than a mile and it's a very easy walk. You're essentially just walking through the heart of the old town of Edinburgh. So of course, if you really wanted to, you could just walk it in 20 minutes, just hustle your way through it. But there are so many cute shops and restaurants along the way. I highly suggest just taking a few hours, strolling, soaking it all in, just kind of wander down random alleyways, find cute photo opportunities and whatnot. Two main detours you do want to take along this walk are Victoria Street, which is a gorgeous street and the inspiration for Diagon Alley in the Harry Potter series, and Coburn Street, which is another street perfect for some great photos. Eventually, the Royal Mile will end at the Palace of Holyrood, and the Parliament Building is right next to it. You can just go up to the gate and admire it from the outside, of course, or you can pay £19.50 to go inside. On day 10, you're heading back home, flying from the Edinburgh airport, which would be smarter than taking another 4-hour train back to London and then going to the airport from there. But of course, do a flight comparison and see the flight difference between the two and see what makes the most sense for you and your route. If you have a later afternoon or an evening flight, then I highly recommend hiking Arthur's Seat in the morning to end your 10 days in the UK. Essentially, it's this big hill you can hike to the top of and see the views of Edinburgh down below. I think it's only supposed to take about an hour, so it's not too crazy or strenuous of a hike, but it is super gorgeous. If you want a more detailed guide on Edinburgh, Scotland, check out this video. I hope you enjoy your trip to the UK.